Hi, I'm Gemma, and this is a chat with Gemma. And yes, my hair is the way it is. It's been very wet in Melbourne, and I suppose it's my Irish heritage that when there's moisture in the air, my hair just goes like this, and so my fringe wants to go like this and like this. And anyway, I've done my best. That's all I can do. So I wanted to talk about how, and I've probably talked about this before, how some of us can feel that we're pretty ordinary. So we think we look ordinary, and we think in ordinary ways, and we do ordinary things. And I remember once coming back from, well, the only time I ever went overseas, coming back and thinking, oh, look at that, look at those buildings. And it was like I'd never seen everything before. And the sky's so high here, things like that. And so when people have had some sort of trauma, or they've had a nervous breakdown, or they've been to war, something like that, or they've had to spend some time away overseas, and they've got stuck and just long to get back. Ordinary seems so wonderful. It seems like a godsend to just go along and do the ordinary things, and be able to do those things that are kind of in your memory or nostalgia. Attend the local shops and do the local things, activities, and all of that suddenly seems like a real gift. So there's not a lot of point in worrying too much about being ordinary. We do sort of sometimes think, oh, I'd like to be like those people, we see on television and magazines, and they're always freakishly beautiful and all of that, and they're doing exciting things because they've got money, and so they can go here and go there, and jump on a yacht and float around past Monaco or somewhere, and the yacht is just absolutely luxurious, and they're weighted on hand and foot, and they might go to the casino, and everybody's dressed gorgeously and flashing the most expensive diamonds and emeralds and whatever else, and people throwing money around. And I think that for some people, that's ordinary. That's what they do all the time. And you might think, oh, lucky them. But after a while, they start to get tired of some of these things as well. Maybe you've gone past Monaco for the 150th time, and you can't be bothered doing it anymore, and you've been to the casino for hours and hours and hours, and you've drunk enough of this champagne, and all right, I've seen all those women's, dresses and clothes and fabulous jewels, and after a while, all of that seems like, oh, I'd like to go and mix with ordinary people, go to an ordinary house and see what the ordinary folk are doing. I might have mentioned this before, but I remember there was a story about Queen Marie Antoinette, and she, of course, lived very expensively, and everything in the palace was extravagant, and her hair had to be the highest hair, and elaborate dresses and all of that. And apparently she started to envy the poor starving people. So she decided she was going to dress as a shepherdess, rather, elaborately dressed shepherdess, and she was going to have a little flock of sheep. And so she had this corner of her, this large, massive property that the palace was on, and she had it made into a little sheepfold, and would go up there and pretend to be a shepherdess. So sometimes it's the folks living in the bark hut that everybody else envies and wants to be like. So sometimes we can get to a, like a Sunday afternoon, let's say, and feel, I didn't do anything today, or, and we look in the mirror and we just see this same old face, and, still got this same old badly proportioned figure and whatever, and we're thinking our normal thoughts and doing our normal things, and we can feel a bit bored and a bit like same old, same old. Well, I get that way too. But I usually go and do something that excites me a bit or interests me a bit. I might go and do some of my crafts, and I can, get absorbed in that for a while. And I'm a bit ADD, so I don't tend to stay on one thing for very long. And, then I'll maybe go and read a book or do a puzzle, or I might go out and actually go to some nice place for a meal, or I might go to some nice place for a coffee and do something that, okay, well, it's not Monaco. It's maybe nicer than just sitting at home. So, yeah, sometimes we just need to have that break. We have that little break up that monotony a bit, so it's not all one big slab of monotony. It's little pieces of monotony, and we can handle it better that way. And other people can help us. They can tell us what they've been doing lately and give us another fresh excitement about something. And to find out what the other person's thinking, we have to actually listen to what they say. Sometimes, I can find myself talking a lot with a friend, and I think, no, shush for a bit, and just when you ask them a question, let them answer, and don't keep asking them further questions. Just let them keep going until they've stopped, and then you might ask them another question. And, you can find out a lot of things that way that are quite interesting. You might find something, some topic that you've never investigated before. Maybe there's a part of history that you're interested in, and you might have thought, gee, history's so boring. And then, lo and behold, there's this little part of history that's got some really interesting stories. And that is the case with history. There are lots and lots and lots of really interesting stories. And I think probably schools have a way of teaching things so that it's so disciplined that the joy is kind of, regimented out of it. And as adults, when we go back to some topics, we find, why didn't they teach us this part of this story? Sometimes you just hear the facts. And then when you hear all the emotional travails and things that people went through, it just makes it, come to life, and you see it as real history, real people. And it's so much more interesting. There's all kinds of things in science, technology, that they're always coming up with and trying to improve, the way we communicate with each other and all of that. Although I think the telephone systems have gotten so blooming complicated that when something goes wrong, it's the people in there don't know how to fix it. Anyway, that's another story. So, yeah, ordinary's not so bad. Ordinary can be a blessing. in disguise, and we sometimes have to just, oh, little spider or something. Why do they have to come inside the house? And why would they want to be on my skin? I would like to know. Hate things. Yes, so maybe you could take an interest in spiders. Not for me. I'd like to know how to kill them all. Every last one. Off the face of the earth. That's what I'd like to do. Yeah, so never know your luck. There's all kinds of things out there. But yeah, ordinary's pretty good. Alright, I hope you are well. Hope you're not too lonely and not too emotionally overwrought at the moment. And bye for now.